It's about time. Finally, someone made an alternative to Fan Your Flames by Nishane. Five Monkeys heard my prayers and they listened. Today, let's talk about Five Monkeys Amore. Before we start, I really love the metal plate on Amore. It reminds me so much of the album cover of Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge by MCR. If you guys didn't know, I had an emo phase when I was in high school. Every time I look at the metal plate, it brings back so much memories when I was a kid. Anyways, moving on. So let's tackle the differences first between the OG and Amore. Then we'll review Amore on its own. As you spray it on, you'll definitely immediately see the difference here. The OG is more warm, spicy, earthy, slightly pungent, and darker. Whereas with Amore, it's lighter and fresher. The super dry, earthy tobacco leaves in the opening of the OG are super toned down here with Amore. I know people wouldn't appreciate the opening of Fan Your Flames since it's very pungent, very dry, and over the top yung warm spices ng tobacco. By the way, the tobacco note here is more of a dry tobacco leaves na note, not a smoky or ashy tobacco type of scent. Also, the dry tobacco has like a dried out hay na feeling. Also, take note that the coconut here on the OG isn't super sweet or over the top creamy coconut. For me, it's a sunscreeny type of coconut with creamy undertones. Though magiging slightly sweet siya in the deep dried out. But here with Amore, they made the coconut more creamy rather than a sunscreen type. On the dry down, you'll notice na mas centered yung creamy coconut here with Amore, whereas the OG medyo mas prominent yung earthy oak moss, dry tobacco leaves, and the coconut. Though the coconut is not really prominent, nor backdrop. It's basically behind the oak moss and tobacco. Now with the differences out of the way, let's review Five Monkeys Amore on its own. So Amore opens up slightly earthy, warm, spicy, dry, and somewhat creamy. The tobacco gives it a dry and warm spicy feeling like a crushed tobacco feeling. And the creaminess comes from the coconut, which will be prominent in the progression of the fragrance. Also, the earthiness is slightly oak mossy, and the dry earthiness smells like a dry haystack. Note that the dry earthiness or tinutukoy kong dry haystack na feeling is more of a texture, not a scent. As it transitions to the mids, the warm spices and earthiness slightly back up, and the creamy coconut becomes the forefront, but you'll also get a dash of rum in the background, though it's more of a dried out rum in a bottle, not an overly boozy rum. On the dry down, the coconut becomes more front and centered, and the creaminess ramps up, but it's not to the point that it's syrupy. The warm spices and a dash of rum and earthiness becomes the backdrop now. As you notice, this is more of a fresher and lighter take of Nishane's Fan Your Flames. And they also made the coconut more prominent, creamy, and removed the sunscreen vibe-ish that I get from the OG. I will say this immediately that I prefer Amore wearing in public compared to the OG Fan Your Flames. The OG for me is too dry, earthy, and too strong, making it difficult for me to wear at times. But this solved that issue for me. And honestly, I'm impressed. The OG Fan Your Flames for me sometimes, or most of the times, is too strong and pungent for me to wear in public. And people necessarily don't appreciate also the scent of the OG because again, it's too warm, spicy, pungent, and dark. That's why I prefer using Five Monkeys Amore in public. Though don't get me wrong, I still love my OG Fan Your Flames. Mas prefer ko lang gamitin si Amore on public. As for performance, Fan Your Flames is known for its beastly performance. Expect the same with Amore. I get 7 to 8 hours of longevity on skin with 5+ days of clothes. It projects strong for 2 hours. As for versatility, Five Monkeys Amore is more catered to colder environments and in controlled settings, like AC. Please don't use this fragrance when the sun is out. Hindi naman siya cloying, but di talaga bagay yung DNA ni Fan Your Flames to wear when it's hot outside. In conclusion, if you're looking for a lighter, creamier, and fresher take of Nishane's Fan Your Flames, Five Monkeys Amore is the answer. Plus, this is the only clone of it that is actually good. So before we end, I want to sincerely thank Sir Vin for releasing Amore. Fan Your Flames is very sentimental to me and has always been my favorite. The fact you created this while I was searching for an alternative to Fan Your Flames is truly heartwarming. Thank you again so much, Sir Vin. Anyways, thank you for watching. Follow the Church of Yon next year for more contents like this. Yan lang out.